ever get on a platform and say, if you get the vaccine, you're 100% bulletproof from catching COVID or anything.
Yeah, no one says that.
Nobody's ever said that. So I don't know where you got that idea from that, oh, I'm gonna get the vaccine and still get sick. Yeah, because it's not bulletproof, my guy. Nothing is. And I don't know how you even came up with that idea.
We tried to keep this off camera, but
it's your fault. It's your fault. You look crazy, bro. You look crazy right now. You look crazy right now. You look crazy right now. He look crazy right now.
Why is it always some old black and white boy telling us young fellas that we ain't relevant in a world that embellishes like a relative content from these elements? You call them stars, I call them settlements, cause they didn't settle for settlements built on a steady sediment. Ashes from the already crashed and burned dust from past residents. So I can feel it in my bones, I'm feeling in the zone. More when I'm on the way, but the same when I'm feeling home. So I'm comfortable, I know you are too. Me and Powers R1D2, Star Wars Harvest Moon feastful. But please don't come peaceful, but kill that noise if it's at all equal. I tell you what, man, let's make it equal. So I can show you the math, but I don't use sequels. Instead, I'ma use physics to determine how we move. Use ethics to perspective our objectives. Because our efforts to fulfill our destinies, the universe expected. So we gotta fight back, take the night back, take our lives back. Our efforts must be twice that of our enemies. Revolution imminent, but I'd rather die making noise than just sitting here.
Facebook was good.
It look like it's a voyeur video.
YouTube was good.
This is filming from over
IG was good.
Hey you.
That part.
That way.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, shall we finally get this show started? Welcome to another episode of SquadKast motherfucking podcast.
What's good with it?
Welcome. We have a guest here today, obviously, if anyone can tell.
Yeah. Shout out my little bro, little cuz Kris, doing his thing, coming through.
Right.
Thanks for coming.
Big barber in the community, you know what I'm saying? And he's coming to drop some knowledge on us, give us some wisdom, some facts behind some things, you know what I'm saying? And give us his story on how he came to be a barber and all that other good shit. You know how we do it, man. We always support the community.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The family.
Well, before we get into that, though, I want to take a quick moment.
You got to join in on this one. Go ahead and get us
take a quick moment because I want to ask Black.
Oh my God!
What the hell, bro? You showed up with one beer. All these beers I bring here, you showed up with one beer.
I thought you were talking about the
What's the beer at now? You drank it too.
I thought you were talking about the damn
beer too.
That's it.
Oh, he wanted to get that off his chest.
You know what? I'm gonna stop drinking. Then what? Then what you gonna do?
I'm going to tell you. I'm sorry.
Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Junkyard Gang.
I knew I
hit
would
the
have
notification, hit the like button.
What's the topic?
I'm
excited to hear
about. Moving along.
What's the topic?
I did bring more beer from the lab.
Before we get into my man's here, I know Sheffin brought up an interesting subject before the show. I think we need to go ahead and tackle that first.
We're gonna try to do that.
And then go ahead and get into my man's here. So with that being said, Sheffin, what were you talking about outside?
And related to the COVID?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Listen, now I want to say first and foremost, I am vaccinated. And I am not anti-vax. So I just want to clarify those, and that's per YouTube terms. I just want to clarify that.
Don't flag us, please.
Right. So, with that being said, I just find it interesting right now that I believe Israel and I think Taiwan, two of the most heavily vaccinated countries in the world right now, are having big outbreaks amongst their vaccinated people, not just the unvaccinated. And not only that, they're finding in some studies that people are actually more susceptible to getting COVID with the vaccine in some circumstances than if not. Mm-hmm. On top of that, they're finding out that some people who are getting COVID antibodies are actually better than any of the vaccines out on the market. And while I don't think this suggests you shouldn't get the vaccine, because I believe as someone who smoked cigarettes for 20 years and overweight my whole entire life, essentially, I mean, I needed the vaccine just in case I caught this. I didn't think I had a running chance, in case it got over me. So
everybody got their own.
Let me finish, bro.
I haven't jumped in yet. I just have a question.
I'm saying, but you're trying to say he's not done. He's not done.
Sorry. Go on, continue.
I mean, with all that being said, I do think that it's interesting that the notion is that everyone still has to get vaccinated.
Indeed I am. When it comes to vaccination, I am. When it comes to y'all vaccinated, I'm not. I
know what you're talking
about. I bet you don't, Jethro. I bet you don't. I bet you don't.
Get your Kyrie Irving on.
Are you you doing?
While I believe I made the right decision to get a vaccine, I do suggest anyone who has not yet do a little bit more research and pay a little bit closer attention to what's going on out here before you do. I don't think,
losing jobs.
my personal opinion, that everyone must get the vaccine is the particular route we should go per some of the new information.
I just want to ask you one thing though before Brother Black goes into his diatribe. Do you know what vaccinations were over there? Because did they have access to Moderna and Pfizer and all that other stuff?
That's a great question.
Or did they get AstraZeneca, who wasn't as strong as all the other ones? Because I know the United States did not use AstraZeneca, but they did ship it overseas.
True.
So I'm just saying.
I do not know if it was.
So we're not actually clear on what vaccines that were over there. So.
And everybody do know that Pfizer, that was the right one to get. I got that Pfizer, all right? Pfizer.
Says this man.
The P-phone.
Back into the madness.
rebuttals.
Yeah, he ready.
Oh, it's madness. That's what you call it, madness?
But that being said, generally speaking,
Are you vaccinated?
Yeah, but I'm
Oh, you are? What did you take?
Pfizer.
Oh, did you gotta take a booster too?
the one and only.
Oh, not yet.
We're just
huh?
asking him right now. Go
Not
ahead
yet?
and rebuttal.
Not yet.
I don't believe I could catch COVID though. But I got vaccinated.
Yeah,
because
you got the antibody. You
people
caught it
around me.
before it started, right? And you didn't know
No, I didn't.
they didn't know it was COVID, so they just told you it was the flu or some
I didn't
shit.
even get sick before COVID came out.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Kyrie
But
Irving.
ain't no fucking Kyrie Irving. Like I said, so back to like I was saying.
Yeah, brother, go ahead and
All I
see
got
if
is
you can
question
get it off
is-
YouTube.
Fucking boot off YouTube. It's actual facts.
I
Subscribe to
what
the
up?
channel.
I
Like y'all said, y'all take
Stay
the vaccination,
tuned.
right?
It's
So
pretty
yes,
good.
no, have y'all not seen people in the U.S., not overseas, in the U.S., have took the vaccination and still have gotten sick
But they live.
from COVID?
Yes, but their
All of them have,
reactions,
brother?
the
My
reactions.
brother.
We not. I get that we know personal experiences, but we're talking about actual statistics.
But
All of them have it.
let's talk
I can't
numbers
tell you.
here.
The flu
Right, that's what I'm
Hold
saying.
on.
I'm not knocking you. All I'm saying is that
Can I get my wisdom out real quick?
you have. I haven't finished my thought.
But I need to
You just cut me off, but you want to get your thought off. That's all I'm saying.
I just need to retort
Haven't
that
finished
real
it.
quick.
How can you retort
Because
anything?
the record
That's
is
a
not-
finish.
I'm retorting.
How can you retort anything I haven't finished,
Because
brother?
you're talking about, have you heard people who taken the vaccine and have they gotten sick? My man said, but they didn't die. And you said, oh,
He
but
just
they...
confirmed that.
Well, hold on,
What are you talking about?
Brother, what are you... Brother, calm
but
down.
I think the overall.
I think the overall thing is...
Deflection is fucking, oh my God, justified. But all right,
Well,
go ahead, continue.
I'm not justifying anything, but what I'm trying to say is, my good brother, is that you're trying to go into this whole soliloquy about how people are getting sick. And
In the U.S.
In the U.S.
The fuck are you talking about?
And of those people who have gotten sick, there's a very small percentage of those that actually, quote unquote, maybe have died. Don't let his propaganda fool you.
Don't let this tomfoolery fool you.
I'm mad at Israel time.
I come with facts.
He said Israel. I'm talking about U.S.
I'm talking about, but what does that got to do with what I'm
We
talking about?
both.
But
But
I'm not talking about both. I'm talking about U.S., brother, and there's a small percentage. But I am telling you because you come with no references, you come with no facts, you come with no nothing.
Was brother talking about family?
Nah, you ain't let me.
No, I did not, brother. No, I did not, brother. He said people aren't dying. And you said, oh, don't act like people ain't. Ain't that not what he said? And all I'm trying to say is, my good brother, that it's a small percentage of those who are maybe dying. And then then you have to look at what age are they. Then you have to look at that type of shit. You can't just go on this whole rant.
Okay, rebuttal. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, that is less severe. My whole argument is that they took the vaccination and they're still fucking getting sick. Point blank, period.
You act like it's bulletproof.
What's the point?
You act like
the vaccine. You
brother,
got to get sick.
because it's not a point. This how stupid you sound. This how stupid you sound. This how stupid you sound right now. And you probably need to just chill out a little bit. The point of taking a vaccine is not to fucking die, my guy. You can get sick, but you're not gonna fucking die, my guy. That's the point of taking a vaccine. You can take measles, you can take chickenpox, all that shit, and still get it. And still get it. So what's your rebuttal for that? What's your rebuttal? No, I want to hear your rebuttal for that. What's your rebuttal for getting chickenpox and measles after you take the vaccine?
I'm just focusing on COVID.
Oh, now
So
we're
you
focusing
took
on
the
COVID.
vaccine.
Now we're just
You took
focusing.
the vaccine, and you're still okay.
You don't know what he's talking
We're getting
about.
sick.
You don't know what he's talking
Fuck
about.
out of here. I'm not
Don't know what
okay
he's
with
talking
that.
about.
You're not gonna make me be okay with
Nah,
still
you
getting
don't know
sick.
what
What the fuck was the point of taking this shit then?
don't
Fuck
know
out
what
of
he's
here.
talking about.
That shit's not cool.
You don't know
Nah,
what
I'm
he's
good.
talking about.
I'm good,
Even
bro.
if it's the next
I'm
couple
good.
weeks, if
You're not gonna make me feel
So
make me be okay with taking some shit and I still get sick. I'm sorry, y'all okay with it. Y'all be cool with it. I'm good. I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm not okay with it. I'm sorry. I'm not okay with it. Y'all can be okay with
I
it.
never got COVID.
I'm sorry, I can put about being
People
banned, but not
let
being
this man know that he
COVID or
makes
vaccine system.
no
I don't give a
sense
fuck
whatever.
about. If I take the shit out to get sick, I'm not gonna be cool with that. Fuck out of here. Not no fucking black shit. Fuck out of here.
You rather just catch it then?
He makes
Like
no
I just said,
sense.
fuck out of here.
This is
Someone
laughable.
tells me I'm gonna take the vaccine.
Okay, we're done. We're
So
done.
if I take
We're
the
done.
vaccine
We're
and I
done.
still catch it,
We're done.
regardless or not, I'm still gonna be okay. I took the vaccine, it's okay.
You know,
You're not gonna have any type of apprehension like they pump us up to believe like if I take this vaccine,
Getting sick
Who's
without
that?
it.
y'all don't.
and then higher
Okay,
percentage
I'm
of
done.
dying.
Higher
I'm done.
percentage of
I'm
dying
done.
It's
I'm
Jeff.
done.
when
I'm
you
done.
catch it.
I want to
Who
know.
is
I have never. Hold on. I have never seen Tony Fauci or Dr. Sanjay Gupta or any other medical aficionado ever get on the platform and say, if you get the vaccine, you're 100% bulletproof from catching COVID
Anything.
or anything.
Yeah, no one says that.
Nobody's ever said that. So I don't know where you got that idea from that, oh, I'm gonna get the vaccine and still get sick. Yeah, because it's not bulletproof, my guy. Nothing is. And I don't know how you even came up with that idea.
Say we tried to keep this off camera, but
We want
yeah,
it on camera.
it's
We
your
want it on
fault. No, it's your
camera.
fault.
You look crazy, bro. You look crazy right now. You look crazy right
You
now.
gotta think about it like
You
this.
look crazy right
He
now.
said so.
He look crazy right now. He looks crazy.
You got sick after you got that flu shot, huh?
Can't say that I did.
Shit, I
You know,
got it.
and per YouTube, we have to keep rebuttaling you. We just
Anyway.
I want you to.
Anyways, so yeah.
How's
Y'all
life
not-
treating y'all? Vaccinated, not
Bless everybody,
vaccinated, and all that. How y'all feeling?
Fucking good. Great.
Actually, I wanted to say that it's great that we have a barber here today because I don't know if you could tell with your expert eye. You came around the corner like, well, this brother needs some help. You know, I don't and start with like my guy needs to call me. You know.
Oh, that was beautiful. I loved it. I loved it.
So yeah, brother. So you were a barber here locally.
Yep.
Right. How long have you been a barber for?
I've just been a licensed barber for about 2 years.
Nice.
Right.
I've been around the industry my whole life though.
That's facts.
And you get a license here at the local school?
Yep, the school that everybody hates. Yeah.
Before it
American
closed
College
down.
of Hairstyling.
Okay.
Well, it was on its way closing down. I started there in 2018.
Okay.
I finished in 2020, so.
Congrats. That's big.
Nice.
I'm glad you was able to get in and get out before the Fugazi shit happened.
Yeah,
But you'll get into that, right?
most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely.
So go ahead and continue. Tell you, you know what I'm saying? What? Obviously, you say you've been in there your whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You said that OG Sam's your uncle.
Yep.
Shout out Imperial Cuttz, 6th Avenue.
Kuttz.
You was in there sweeping and all that shit, right?
Yeah, when I was a kid, like, probably started sweeping when he got the shop in 06. So since then, even before then, I swept platinum a couple times. You know,
Okay.
Platinum been around for
Shout out Big Rob.
Yep. Shout out Big Rob.
It's like 30 platinums right now. 30 like Big Rob and for real.
So what we're trying to get? Levels.
Yeah.
So when you first got out of barber college, did you already build up clients and have people that was rocking with you, so where when you got your own booth, you didn't have to worry about just taking the walk-ins and all that?
In a sense, yeah, but it was kind of just because I knew a lot of people from around here.
Okay.
You know, went to 3 different high schools, so.
Okay. So how did it feel when you got your first customer and your first chair out of the barber college? What was that like? When you cutting legal? We know the underground drugs.
Yeah. I done gave a couple of them.
It was really just kind of nervous though.
Yeah.
Because like, so it's like, it's weird because like when you start the barber college, you know, a lot of people don't know how to cut, so you at the bottom of the totem pole, but majority of people by the time they leave, you know, you the best in there, one of the best in there.
Okay.
And then you get in the shop and you're around, you know, like what? The oldest barber in Imperial been cutting for what? 35 years?
Facts.
You know, so.
A little bit of pressure?
A lot of pressure, you know, because he know tricks of the trade that you don't, and you still just getting your feet wet. So you really just got to go back into not teaching but learning, because you graduate the school teaching. Yeah, and then you go back to learning.
Because I believe, I mean, I'm not a barber, then I'm just going off observation. What they teach you pretty much the basics, right? And then that's enough to get you on your feet and get you going. And then, like you said, you just keep learning as you go.
Yeah.
Because even barbering has evolved to where it's just not just a cut and shade no more.
Yeah.
So let me ask, in basically every barbershop across America, there's one of them pictures that got like 30 different cuts. Same brother,
Pick
different
one.
cut, right, you know. Do they teach you how to do every single one of those cuts? And then someone pointed at one of you like, today's the day. I finally get to do this weird star in the back of the head. I get to do it.
So it's funny that you asked that. Designs are all based upon the barber, but the basic cuts, taper, fade, comb over, stuff like that. They teach you how to do that in school, but when you see the fade and the pizzazz that everybody likes, that's just getting out into the barbershop and learning that from other barbers and teaching, like tricks of the trade. So it just all depends, but those cut posters are actually hated upon in the barbershop. They say if you ordering off that menu, they say you want to come in with your haircut on your phone on Google pulled up.
You might as well say, let me get the fuck me up. Keep it going.
So since there's all different types of textures and hairs, like what's your least favorite hair type to cut or style?
I don't know. This might hurt his business.
Nah, as a barber, one thing that you learn is, that I learned from the OGs at Imperial. I cut all hair. I can cut any hair, so ain't no hair my favorite, but, we live in Iowa. We only 2% of the population, so you want 100% of the money.
Bringing the numbers.
Is it harder to do that texture of hair than?
So we call it straight hair and coarse hair. Ours is coarse hair, theirs is straight hair.
Okay.
Straight hair is a little different than coarse hair. You grow up taking care of your hair. So that's what's going to be the easiest for you because you know how it comes off, if it's dry, if it's not. And other hair that you're not used to taking care of, you just got to learn how to, flip the wrist, clip over, just different techniques.
I'm pretty sure you focus on that part more.
Yeah.
Because like you said, so I'm pretty sure you didn't just put it aside, but I know you focused on the straight hair a little bit more.
And I reach out to other barbers that
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying, kind of inclined in the straighter hair and ask them for their tips and stuff like that. So
that's dope.
So with your skills and learning and knowledge that you've gained, do you plan on opening a barber college?
Maybe not a college, but a shop. Eventually, years down the road, a school will be open. That's because I go to a lot of different barber expos and a lot of the top barbers in the country, they got schools. So that'll probably what ends up happening. But right now, I'm just focused on elevating into opening my own shop first. And I want to open up a shop, but then open up what is called suites too. They don't have suites for barbers here though in this city. It's more like bigger cities. Like my aunt's a beautician in Houston.
Yeah.
And that's where.
Shout out Chelsea.
Okay.
Yeah, suites. That's where the suites are at. And I lived up there with her in 2013. And I actually started my barber college journey there. But I only got a month in and then came back home. But they have suites where it's more private. A lot of people like privacy nowadays and not the big barbershop atmosphere. It's cool, but when you got 16 barbers in one shop, that can be a lot of commotion for some clients. So
taking my stuff, drinking my apple juice.
I ain't gonna lie, because when I went to her shop and I seen her suite, her room, the clients be loving it. That's why
And you got your own space and you ain't got to deal with all the
you ain't got to
drama
listen to no
of
commotion and none of that. It's real dope in there.
That's good. That's good. Well, I hope you do get that. I know you're gonna get that because you speaking to the university, it's gonna come.
Can you kind of break down how a typical barbershop works as a barber, as a non-owner? How does that experience generally go? Are you paying for a space?
Yeah,
or
so
you just have to get so many heads in and then it's all yours? Or
there's just two different options. So you can either the barbershop owner is going to charge commission, which is based off, you're going to get paid based off of the services that you provide throughout the week, or booth rent. So the shop that we work at runs off booth rent. We pay them $200 a week every Saturday or every Monday.
Well, you're making money, so.
You tripping, you know how much Kuttz is nowadays?
$200 a week.
Are they cutting hair on Mondays nowadays?
Our barbershop's open 7 days a week.
Certain barbershops ain't open on Mondays.
7 days a week. But traditionally, way back when barbers first began, and there used to be a barber union. It was part of the union that barbers didn't cut on Sundays and Mondays, but they did away with that years and years ago. So.
Some certain shops still abide to that. Like certain ones still don't be open on Sundays and Mondays. But you know, shout out Universal. They be open 24/7.
That's an interesting concept. Does it still exist?
No, it's been out of place for many years.
Maybe we need a barber union. I don't know.
But it's actually something that been crossing my mind, maybe trying to get back together. But you'll have to reach out to different boards, barber boards in each state, so that everybody can come together as one.
Yeah.
So have you engaged in the barbershop wars yet about whose shop is better and all that other shit? Cause that shit happens. I be seeing shout out Byron and Supreme. They be having basketball games versus Platinum and all of them. They be having tournaments and shit.
Yeah, the barbershop war is always gonna happen. You know, just not from us as barbers ourselves, but
you know,
from the clients. But
it be competitions always.
Nowadays, stuff like the barbershop tournaments and stuff is another thing. Me and another young barber are trying to get back together because we're really trying to bring the camaraderie back where us barbers here see each other more as family and less as enemies.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying?
That's facts.
Because there's a lot of heads to be cut.
A lot.
So.
And there ain't that many black barbershops to keep it real.
So many heads you can do within
again,
a day.
some more good numbers for you though. Just statistically in America itself, us as black barbers are only 8.5%.
He's bringing the numbers.
That's mind-blowing.
He's bringing the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, how many black barbers are in Montana? South Dakota.
Well,
I'm just going
how many
out
others
there.
are in Montana?
That's the point I'm making. So I can see how there's 8%. I can really see that.
It's not on the list behind.
Even as big as New York, the big metropolitan city, bro.
A lot of Puerto Rican barbers there.
Puerto Ricans, Dominicans.
A lot more Puerto Rican barbers than blacks in like New York, for instance. We just came from the biggest barber expo in the world there in the middle of August, and there's a lot of Puerto Ricans, Hispanic descent. You know.
Right. Wow.
So
Interesting. What's the most amount of heads you've done in a day?
Man, and when I was in barber college, I used to cut out in my basement, and on the weekends, like Sundays, I used to start at like 8 in the morning and end at like 9 at night. So I mean, that's probably at least 20, 30 heads.
Right. Dang.
G was one of them.
Real
Nice.
He definitely supported me since the beginning.
For real.
I think in the shop though, so far, since I moved to Universal about 10 months ago, I cut 20 heads one day. I stayed in there till like 1 in the morning.
Get that money.
One day.
I was
only
over the
one day.
shop one time a long time ago and they were closing, but I walked in and it was like, yeah, fine, you gotta wait, but yeah, well, okay.
That's how our shop owner, he kind of rubbed off on everybody else. But it's like if you walk in the door, even if we tired, we can't let you walk out. So.
Ain't Blue open the
business?
Nah, Blue actually got his own shop on.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Where y'all at?
We're on University.
Okay.
4721, literally right across the street from Waveland Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Well, I gotta
go get a cut and then go get you some chocolate chip pancakes from Waveland.
Yeah. They close at 2 though, so you gotta get in early.
So how do you feel about the state of barbering in Iowa like right now? Like, is there enough? I mean, like you said, there's a whole bunch of heads that can be cut, so obviously there's enough room for people to expand and you know, have their own shops. You know, there's an apprentice out here and all that other stuff.
Which is great. Current scene, you could say I'm in the middle. I'm neutral. I'm neutral because right now I'm an independent contractor is what we call ourselves as barbers. We're not employees because we make our own schedule, do our own thing as long as the owner gets his rent at the end of the week. But as well as we're not in a very big state, so you can be oversaturated with barbers in Des Moines in general. Des Moines maybe, but there's other small states like a kid that I went to school with. He opened a shop in Williamsburg. There's not a barber within like the next like 20, 30 miles, so he gets all of those clients. Wow. So in certain areas in Iowa, there's a need for barbers, and in certain areas we are oversaturated.
Right.
But with me being a shop owner, I want to be a shop owner in the future. I want to push, of course, everybody to get their barber license, so there's more barbers to fill the shop when I decide to open it.
Well, what right now is really good about being a barber in the city?
The cost of living is real low here, which anybody that's from here.
That's a
been
fact.
from
Jim, you know, I was relatively speaking.
That's a fact.
But you're
So,
right.
That's a fact.
It is pretty reasonable.
It's like this when we were in, again in Connecticut, New York area where the expo was. In each of those areas, it costs about $10,000 to live monthly to live comfortably.
Yeah, damn.
And here, which is more research we were just doing as barbers, and here you only need about $3,000 to live comfortably. So, and then like
Shit, I'm poor.
like he was saying, you know, with the way and the prices that Kuttz are in our shop, kind of the shop owner set a different norm when he became a barber 8 years ago and got his feet wet. So depending on the type of service you give a client, he might give you $100 a cut.
Right, yeah. I
So-
mean, that's when I was still getting cuts regularly, for sure. My barber, I was definitely paying a lot more money than what that cut was actually being charged. So, but that right, I respected the skill and the time and all that. That just was.
And I was putting it in we always talk numbers in our shop. So if you do 5 cuts a day at $40, 5 days a week, that'll give you $1,000 a week. So,
Right.
you know, that's basically not being in the shop at all.
Go to college.
That's basically
I wish
being in
the
shop at all.
barber
You come in
college
the
didn't
morning,
close. I'll go sign up right now.
you know, we take, maybe, we give our cuts 45 minutes to an hour. Some barbers do them in 30 minutes. So think, and if you work an 8-hour day, you can get so many cuts in. This is a great place to live, and be a barber as well. But if you're looking for different things here to expand your horizons,
You should have a luck on that one.
yeah.
Is the industry good about getting rid of bad barbers?
Hell no.
What is a bad barber? The industry can't tell what a bad barber is. Only the clients can. And if
So
a barber is,
Maybe that's fair.
So let me ask you a question. What do you consider a bad barber?
there is no bad barber for me. I mean,
Okay.
you could say like that's just kind of as a barber with me being a fellow barber. What if I don't think this guy cuts pretty good, but his clientele is filled up? He's not a bad barber. Because
That's a
he's
fact.
getting money.
That's a fact. That's
So
a fact.
what if you? I hear
So
what you're
maybe
saying.
owner-wise?
I feel like
Because there's going to be certain barbers that somebody across the world or some client out here is not going to like their haircut or the way that they cut their hair, or they're going to like the way this barber cut it better.
I guess my rebuttal to that is I follow what you're saying, but I feel like with some barbers, well, they've been in the game for 10 years, 20 years. If you cutting somebody's hair and you fuck up, just own up to it.
You got to.
But if you come up with all these different excuses, saying all this off the wall ass shit,
Then you don't
how
have
can you
integrity
call
as a
yourself
barber.
a barber and come off with, like that's the
So
shit
he's
that
saying the
baffles my
client
mind.
has to speak up.
Yeah.
Oh, you do, but when a barber comes up with these off the wall ass excuses, what the fuck can you do? That's all I'm saying. But hey, I mean, I'm not attacking nobody.
Nah, I feel you.
I'm just
but
saying.
barbers really got to be real with themselves.
I'm just saying.
Like if
Motherfuckers
I'm
come out
messing
like,
up the cut, you just gotta give it on the back end. Like, yeah, I did. Like, I could fix it. These are the opportunities. I can have this guy fix it or not.
no black eyes. That's all I'm saying.
Really, if
no black
you're
eyes.
serious with your cutting, though, you know, you really ain't gonna be messing up a lot of
Take
cuts.
it as a craft, exactly. Like, come on.
And the
bro.
black ice is something that, or we call it, it's hair fibers now.
Try and cover up shit. That's all it's
semi-permanent,
cover up.
On certain people,
Fuck
but
yeah,
that's for the barbers that's
It's
not
just a
staying
cover up.
authentic. You know, any barber that learned authentic, which is why I went to Imperial first, because I was the youngest barber in there about 20 years. And they don't use no black eyes, no spray. I was teaching them
Okay.
about
The Carlos Boozer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
LeBron James. Don't try to
that's
fade
why
him out
LeBron
too.
James got here.
Brother,
But also, you know, that
You want to
nowadays they got
mention Carlos Boozer. He ain't
so many
shit.
Because
He a Laker
he was
fan.
the one
He
that
a Laker
was
fan.
bald-headed
He don't want a minute.
the
It's
one
all right.
game, and then the very next game,
LeBron
he had a
too.
head full of hair.
LeBron
Yeah.
too.
Shout out Carlos Boozer.
LeBron
he's getting what they call a man.
See,
eater.
you
LeBron
you just
James
have enough
man.
money to do that. You wouldn't actually. You just have so
Oh, no.
much money.
No, he's never-
Hey, and you know what's crazy about that?
He's paying
Nate
for that.
Robinson
You're right.
exposed him. Nate Robinson put his teammate on blast on IG. That's shout out Nate Robinson.
He got a
Much,
wig
man.
cap or 37
Basically, that's what
piece.
it is. It's basically like a wig for men. We call it a man unit. But it stays on, depending on-
I ain't
depending
never
on how
heard
much
this
you
shit.
pay.
My
Like if you
fault,
want to
my
get some
bad.
hairline and everything,
No,
you can get it to last for you
yeah.
6 months.
So hold on, is that where you see the white shit when they kind of draw it out?
Yeah, no.
No, that
That's
so
a lot.
sometimes that is, but sometimes that's just like he said, the enhancement for them trying to make the cut look a little better.
Okay.
You know, but
Cause
It's like what is it?
I seen somebody sketch the shit on they, and then they did the spray and the whole, bro, it was crazy. I seen the whole.
yeah.
You-
But yeah, if he wanted to fade, just grow his sides up. We got you.
Mascara.
Couple bars in our shop.
Top part be fighting.
Nah, but then they're gonna shave. So what they're gonna do is shave that top part bald.
Make it pop.
See, that's
Then they're
crazy,
gonna
man.
get you
3D,
better.
yeah.
There's a couple barbers in our shop that do it.
It's terrible.
All right, well, so some of the good. What are some of the bad sides of the business? I don't know if that's more appropriate locally or nationally.
Nah, that's real appropriate because we talk about it all the time. One of the bad parts about it is if you ever get too busy, there's some people that like our shop owner got COVID and was real sick, which is another, but moving on. He's on his deathbed, telling people like, look, I'm on my way to the hospital. They're like, oh, well, can you just cut me real quick?
Oh my God.
Like, I'm about to die.
That's crazy.
Or like just certain situations, like if I had to go pick up my kids or something, they're like, come on, just squeeze me in right quick. But like if you tell them no, it's the end of the world.
Right.
To them, knowing damn well they gonna call you back anyway.
Right.
That's all it is.
Someplace else.
I mean,
and you can get overworked up about some stuff that go on in the shop, but I'm not one of those people. I kind of just like to go with the flow. I don't like to get worked up about what everybody else doing.
so if you was in the movie The Barbershop, who would your character be? Out of all them.
I'll be like a mix though.
That's right. That's a tough question.
I'll be like a
great,
mix.
hard
You
question.
gonna be White Mike at first.
No, I ain't. Don't do my man like he ain't White Mike. He probably be the brother from Save the Last Dance, the bald head.
No. I'm thinking about a little bit.
I mean, he's not a corn Billy.
Ice Cube mixed with dude that was in that trouble.
Mike,
Him.
Oh,
Ice Cube
okay,
mixed with a little bit of him because see that's another reason why I moved to Universal was to gain a little more professionalism and understand that there's a lot of different sides of life, a lot of different walks of life that come in there. A lot of different.
I'm pretty sure I can imagine the conversations that you be having, getting wisdom. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of wisdom. So I got one thing I did learn from Imperial though is how to say no to people and not feel bad if I really got something going on. But one thing I learned how to do at Universal was tell them no, but rebook them though. So like I can't get you right now, but are you available tomorrow or when's your next availability? Because I got this and that going on.
Okay.
Or like today I had an instance like that. He's actually a regular client of mine, but he thought that he booked with me, but I knew my book shut off. So I just asked him like, did you book? He like, I thought I did. I'm like, well, I blocked my books off. There's no way you could have booked, but I'm like, can you come back tomorrow? And he's like, yeah, I can come back tomorrow. But it's just all about the respect for him too. I'm just like, I really got a meeting and stuff I got to go to.
Right.
Just being respectful and all that.
Tabby shop.
Yeah, it just depends. And some clients might get mad, but at that point, I did what I was supposed to do by blocking my schedule off. You just didn't wait for the confirmation email. Because with our booking sites, they send confirmation emails. Or if I text you and tell you, like, yeah, come at 5, you got that text. So you can be like, look, this when you told me to come.
Right.
Hey, brother, it was glitch in the system. I'm here. Can I get a cut? That's all I need to know.
And then at that point, I'll be like, look at my books, like, I got this time, or if I got something to do, or I'll be like, usually, we say, yeah, if we don't got nothing to do. Like, yeah, sit down, I'll be with you, I got this coming up, and we gonna get you. At our shop, we really try to work people in that come in the door. We don't try to let nobody walk out without a haircut.
I've never been an appointment cat in my last few years of going to the shop. I was always running in that problem where I would show up and it would be packed.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, it's an appointment world now.
If
you don't go, like, if you don't set an appointment, like, I ain't gonna lie, they always say 20 minutes in our shop, but you really roughly looking at about an hour 45 though, because everybody in our shop is pretty much booked up. They might have a couple people with some slots open or a couple people struggling to get some days booked up, but we all in the works of doing that. So
I'm gonna tell you how to do it. When you book, this is what I do with the boys. When they make their haircut appointment, they get cut. I make their appointment the same day. Like,
you giving good advice.
Like, can I get it 2 weeks from now?
That's
same
how you
time.
really do it.
You know what I'm saying? And just.
But the ones that don't make it is be the chair hoppers. Just trying to let
No, we can't. We need familiarity.
We're the same dude that you tell every week, like, man, look, this is my booking link schedule, but he still want to walk in and wonder why he waiting an hour.
I try familiarity. Once you fuck up on the little one's head, I gotta find somebody else. And that's why I try to stick to my normal. It was one trip out of town and my boy wasn't there and it just fucked up the whole locomotion that was going on. I ain't been right ever since. I ain't been right ever since. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
That do that too. It's grown-ups.
Oh, it's been about 2 months and I ain't been right.
But don't sometimes Mickey D's forget the cheese on the burger?
Fuck
but
that.
that's why you keep calling back, cussing them out though. Like, hey man, I need something free for that. What you forgot?
See?
That part.
You know,
I'm sorry, you done fucked up too bad. I can't go back and ask for an extra meal. Fuck that.
Back in the day, I used to have a giant fro.
He did. He really did.
I had a massive fro. Oh, right.
I can tell.
Like he really didn't have braids either, because this Andorras could braid her ass.
Oh yeah, that's I was her damn billboard. I'd get my hair braided for free half the time and come to school and everyone.
I sure was paying my $10-20 over there, sitting on that hard ass fucking pillow, getting my shit braided.
But I would think I was 21 or 22 when I got it cut off. Actually, I was just cruising around on a Sunday, knowing damn well, and I didn't even know I hadn't had a haircut in like 10 years at that point. I didn't even know barbershops weren't even open on Sundays. I hadn't yet, as a grown man, to go to a barbershop. I had a fro that long, but I was just driving around just to see, and I happened to go over to the south side, just other side of downtown, and there's a barber named Larry who used to have a shop called, I think, All American Barbershop. And this brother was just standing outside of his shop in the rain on a Sunday afternoon. And I was like, shit, I wonder if he's open. So I pull up, and I have my guy Will with me. Ill Will, the battle rapper. He's with me, right?
Ill Will.
Ill Will, right.
Straight out of Pontiac.
Straight out of Pontiac. And,
yo, shout out Ill Will. Hold on. Shout out Ill Will, yo. You should be Battle of the Year right now. You got my gold champion. You all that. Shout out Ill Will.
And he thinks this shit's funny. I'm cutting my hair because we work together. He don't know me, this goofball with this big ass fro anyway. So he thinks it's hilarious. I'm trying to cut it off. And Larry's out there, and I'm still smoking cigarettes. And I asked him, can I get a cut? And he was like, man, let me get one of them cigarettes. And he didn't say anything after that. So I gave him a smoke, and we stood outside and just talked a little bit and just smoked cigarettes. And then I said, so you gonna let me get a haircut? She was like, well, let me get that one of them cigarettes. Come on in. And sure enough, we went on into the shop and they let us smoke. I was a smoking motherfucker back then. I smoked mad cigarettes. Smoked cigarettes in the shop, and he cut my hair. Got my fro cut off. And the side of his shop was smashed in. And the reason is there's like a little gravel pit between him and this other building where there's some bar up in the way, and some drunk asshole back into the bar middle of the night. And that's why he was there Sunday morning, because he didn't want to leave his shop unprotected.
I feel him on that one.
Right.
Got to.
He was smoking that stress away with
and about to make a little bit of cash too. So it all came together for everybody.
Bro,
it was the most clandestine moment.
He needed them cigarettes more than that cut, bro. I'm telling you.
His whole career.
He needed that fresh breath there, bro. You can't do a rescue, bro.
I'm pretty sure I gave him a cigarette or two on the way out the door.
I'm pretty with the Newport.
No, not Newport.
You smoking menthol?
I was smoking menthols, but like marbles or something.
Marble menthol?
Right,
yeah. You look like a marble menthol guy. No Newport? You don't smoke Newport shorts?
No, well, Newport's cost way too much for something.
Newport is a staple in the black community.
Yeah, right. Newport's and Pepsi.
Right.
I was gonna say Coke.
So shout out to the city barbers, even in the most dire straits of situations. If there's a will, there's a goddamn way to a fresh cut. I tell you that much.
University gonna get you that cut if you need it for sure.
Shout out Universal.
That's the last place I went to get my hair cut. Actually,
tell the people how they can get a hold of you to book an appointment, come see you for a cut, and all that other shit.
Usually it's best to book an appointment at KrisTheBarber.Jambook.com.
You heard him.
Or you can just come in to 4721 University Avenue.
You heard him.
You might be waiting an hour and a half.
You heard him.
We're going to get you though.
We're going to get you though.
We're going to get you. That's all that matters.
Subscribe to the channel.
Probably be the best cut, hot towel, a little bit of steam. Get you together.
Get you right. There we go.
All right, well, with that being said, Black, I want to talk about COVID again.
I'm
running upon himself. I'm sorry, y'all. He did it to himself.
Hold on, let him get his rant out. Get your rant out.
No, we're done with Black.
Get his rant out. He needs to get his rant out.
No one gets
Just gonna bring up the fact that there was damn white boy got fucking probation for a year. Fuck that, yeah. Fuck that here. Fuck him again. I'm shocked to the part you gonna say again.
I thought you got out of the system
Great State, Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa.
I just thought you got out of the system
Ain't no hate
last
crime
show.
here, but this motherfucker motherfuckers done did this on numerous occasions. Did to a females downtown too, but these motherfuckers get probation for a year. Fuck out of here.
Bro. Fifth worst.
Like we would've did some shit like that to them, we'd been underneath the jail.
Ostracized.
Fuck out of here.
I mean, if anything, just further proof that the struggle continues.
The struggle
continues. This ain't shit except for the man who's getting it.
You know what the name of my fantasy football team is? Power to the people.
Oh, well, shit.
Yeah,
that's the best answer to that.
And
I'm using that now. I'm using that. I'm bringing it up on Junkyard Game, by the way. Check out Junkyard Game. We got, subscribe. Lots of stuff going on over there.
King of the Shorts right here.
Right, absolutely so.
Why y'all do Brother Love piece like that, bro? I saw you.
He had it coming.
Talking about how slow his internet was and he in Vegas and you the shit on his internet.
All he keeps doing is trying to connect to the same shitty internet. It don't even make no sense, guys.
I be watching like they be shit like Brother Love piece, man. They be doing it wrong, bro. It be you. It be you.
See, they roasted me back in the day, and I posted that.
They had the one chef and roast. That was it, bro. That was it.
Yeah, we actually have roasted him like 5 times on the internet connection. There's like 4 shorts with him getting his ass.
Oh, like, yo.
So.
Made him feel bad, man.
Right. That's alright. It's on him.
I felt bad for him.
It's on him.
High speed.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I got it,
I mean, he is in Vegas. I mean,
I'm a little older than I. What am I supposed to? How am I supposed to feel about Las Vegas internet connection?
I mean, Vegas is a bigger city than us.
A lot of people connected to that internet.
You know what I'm saying?
True. He's on at the wrong time, baby.
Who knows how many devices is connected to his shit too? So you never know.
All right. Well, I want to thank our guests again for sliding on through, dropping some of that knowledge about what's going on in here in the barber scene. Get your fresh cuts when you can.
When you
possible. It's busy.
We haven't finished.
Do you got something to add?
No, I thought we had something else to add.
Oh, we got something else to add?
Well, no, guess not.
It's Fat Boy.
Peace.
Love
it, y'all.
I didn't know. Do we have something else to add? We still rolling.
It's the revolution. Why is it always some old black and white boy telling us young fellas that we ain't relevant in a world that embellishes like a relative content from these elements? You call them stars, I call them settlements, cause they didn't settle for settlements built on a steady sediment. Ashes from the already crashed and burned dust from past residents. So I can feel it in my bones, I'm feeling in the zone. More when I'm on the way, but the same when I'm feeling home. So I'm comfortable, I know you are too. Me and Powers R1D2, Star Wars Harvest Moon Feast Food. But please don't come peaceful, but kill that noise if it's at all equal. I tell you what, man, let's make it equal. So I can show you the math, but I don't do sequels. Instead, I'ma use physics to determine how we move. Use ethics to perspective our objectives. Because our efforts to fulfill our destinies, the universe expected. So we gotta fight back, take the night back, take our lives back. Our efforts must be twice that of our enemies. Revolution imminent, but I'd rather die making noise than just sitting here listening. Come on, we gotta fight back, take our right back, take our lives back. Our efforts must be twice that of our enemies. Revolution imminent, but I'd rather die making noise than just sitting here listening.
We all equal as people when we come together. It's lethal. Take it to new heights like Evil Knievel. Jumping 100 diesels, a floating, a flying eagle. Practicing the technique of the Brutus bomb. Can turn Golem back into Schmiegel. Is that even legal in a non-fictional world? Egotistical maniacs act like material girls. How could you be a star when the rest